saying that on behalf of Ireland for people to wake up and maybe look into the issue, that's what it takes. And even now, with that issue being out there in the world and it's going viral, the Prime Minister of Ireland is responding. I'll show you his quote here. It says, St. Patrick's Day around the world is a day rooted in community, humanity, friendship, and fellowship. Conor McGregor's remarks are wrong and do not reflect the spirit of St. Patrick's Day or the views of the people of Ireland. I don't know that he can speak on behalf of every single person in Ireland. And if I'm familiar, I've heard many say that this is going to be a growing issue for Ireland, for France, for Germany, for Spain, for the UK, for the United States. And we're all wondering, at what point do we start to make movement on these issues? And at what point has the issue grown so far and bounded so far that it's going to take, so much work to get back, if we even can get back. You lose a lot in culture, in custom, in tradition, when you allow just massive influx of people to move into your country illegally. And what we need is just legal structures. It's okay to have migrants moving into your country. It's okay to accept people who want to work, who want to seek opportunity, who want to be a part of Irish culture or American culture. But I have to put an emphasis on wanting to be a part of. When you want to be a part of something, you have to follow the laws in tandem with everybody else who is a part of that thing. When you want to be a part of something, in particular a culture, you must assimilate in some regard. And that doesn't mean you can't bring beautiful things from your homeland and your country, but it just means you must have reverence for the culture that exists there, and you must integrate to some regard to the culture that you are now accepting and joining. You cannot leave a country for horrible reasons, wanting to seek opportunity in another country, and bring all of those horrible reasons into the country you are now staying in. And it's of the utmost importance that you do it legally. And I know leadership in the West right now is just telling everybody to do whatever it is they want at any given moment, but we also need to hold our leaders accountable and tell them to enforce immigration law. And if you don't have the immigration law, you better create it, because what's happening in Ireland is happening all over the world right now. And I can tell you, it doesn't end well.
So the tourist industry in Ireland has taken a real beating over the last few years. Numbers are down massively. Why? What's so different about Ireland these days? Is it no longer the Emerald Isle? Is it no longer a beautiful place where the crack is mighty and the Guinness flows freely? Well, all those things are still there, but there's a few other things added into the mix. Also, number one, reports coming out or going out around the world that Ireland isn't just as safe as it used to be, especially the capital, Dublin, where stabbings are commonplace now, street violence is commonplace now, and certainly crime is on the rise. And if you want to get yourself a nice hotel or a nice place to stay, well, that's becoming increasingly difficult as well, given that many hotels and guest houses and B&Bs are currently occupied by asylum seekers and refugees. Certainly the amount of available rooms is much less now than it used to be.
Families, or were they just military-aged men?
No, there were family groups, and they were welcomed into the area. The children are going to school locally. People are working in the community, and they are very supportive of what we are trying to do here. They now are being, I mentioned the contract. It was a temporary accommodation contract that was entered into to house Ukrainians who were fleeing from war. And but that situation, that was fine, because that was always going to be a temporary arrangement. But now we have a situation where there's going to be a rolling contract to provide accommodation for IPAs.
I heard that the Ukrainians are being evicted. Is that true?
Yeah, we understand that they have been told that they need to be out. The information we were given is by the second week in August. Now we can't speak to the accuracy of any of those reports, because we're skeptical of everything we hear, because we don't know if somebody's saying, to give us a false sense of security, that nothing is going to happen here until the second week in August. We are behaving every day as if an arrival of IPAs is imminent.
IPA is what you call
national protection applicants.
So yeah. We would call that refugee claimants in Canada.
Yeah, well, here the Ukrainians would be deemed refugees, in that they were fleeing a war situation in their country. But the asylum seekers, it's a different. That's where they fall under international protection applicants.
Now, where would the proposed IPAs or asylum seekers, where would they be coming from?
Look, we don't know, because we don't know anything. We're not being told anything. We're hearing, of course, reports from different parts of the country about they're coming from here, there, everywhere.
Passport, no papers, no identity, no fingerprinting, no problem. No problem. Hakuna Matata. There is no problem. If you want to get into Ireland, you don't need something like a passport. You don't need to be able to prove who you are. You just need to rock on in here from England or from Belfast if you want to, and there will be no questions asked. So today we're going to hear from this chap who, at least at the time of recording, was living in a tent in Dublin, and he was being questioned by two Dubliners who were passing by, just curious. Who are you? Where are you from? How did you get here? Tell us a little bit about yourself. So he goes on to explain, no passport, no papers, and at the end of this video he says, look, I'm just being honest with you as to how I got here and what I'm doing here. At least he told us some story, maybe not the full story. And here's the irony. The irony is he's being more honest with you, the listener, or the people that were talking to him. He's being more honest with you or them than your own government.
And I just want to be really, really clear. For us, this is not a race issue at all. For us, this is a services issue. You mentioned there the population of Dundrum. In the last census, I understand the population of the village is 221 people. There's a bed capacity inside these gates for in around 550 people. And that alone doubles the population of the village. And if you take into account the fact that every person in there can apply under the family reunification option that's open to them to have 6 more family members come and join them here in their new lives in Ireland, the 550 people there could turn into 3,000 people very, very quickly. And it's overwhelming. We've got one doctor in the village. He has said he won't be taking anybody on. He doesn't have the capacity. I understand there was a doctor in a neighbouring town. He was providing care to the Ukrainians. He said that when the IPAs come in, he's not taking it. He doesn't have the capacity. The schools are under pressure. Everything is under pressure here. And we just really want our hotel back, to be honest with you. We're a very compassionate people. The Irish people are very compassionate people. But we feel that our compassion and our generosity is being taken advantage of by a government who are not enforcing our immigration laws to begin with. How are people getting on a plane with documents and then managing to come through with no documents? It's a farce. It's an absolute joke. And that's the first thing, in my opinion, that should be addressed. If somebody gets off a plane, you cannot get on without documents. If somebody gets off a plane without documents, they should be immediately sent back to the country from where they came. That's
for my children's future.
Okay.
Our beautiful country is just been decimated. The corrupt government is allowing everyone into our country. Illegal immigration is a massive problem in our country right now.
And how has this been affecting the community?
Well, I, for one, as a woman, I'm nervous walking around after dark. I'm not comfortable. I go in around my own city of Waterford. I feel like an alien. I feel like a minority.
There 2 weeks ago, 3 people at the hall doors. Their neck was cut.
Wow.
In Dublin. So it's disgraceful now at this stage. And there was a guy murdered there last week. He was an immigrant as well. But there's a good few things that happened. A woman attacked at 6 o'clock in the morning walking her dog.
Oh, wow.
So there's loads of attacks.
Yeah.
And that's only what we hear.
Well, the mass migration that's flooding into the country is mainly third worlders, and they're abusing our Céad Míle Fáilte, our welcoming ways, and our empathy towards people. But the Irish people that are suffering aren't being looked after. The services in the country are broken. They're not building hospitals. They're not building schools. There's no autism supports in the county I'm from, Tipperary. Like, what's going on is wrong. And if loving your country and your culture makes you far right, I'm the furthest right. I'm leaning further to the right every day because they're destroying our culture and they're destroying our country for profit.
This is the Ireland that I'm living in.
Doing nothing, scrounging off the state, getting free money, free accommodation while they rob the city blind. So the Romanian gypsies get free stuff from the government, and then they're also here robbing and stealing.
They have keys from Dublin Corporation of the bins. They're going around opening up the bins, taking the plastic bottles out, because we have a return scheme here now, which is absolutely ridiculous as well. So it's getting worse and worse and worse, and Ireland is going to implode in the next couple of months if something isn't changed.
So Sean, right here we have a group of gypsies behind us right now, and they have their pimp, it looks like.
That's every day.
And do you think they'll talk to us if we go over there?
Probably not, they'll run from the camera, but we can give it a try if you want.
Alright, let's go do it.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? Excuse me. Where are you guys from? Where are you guys from?
Want to say a few words?
What is it?
Yeah.
Just about this week. So what's going on?
Romania.
Romania. What are you guys doing here today?
No speak English.
No speak English?
No speak English, no speak English. We heard the same thing yesterday, remember?
I hear you speaking English all the time. You do be. You do be speaking English all the time. What you do be doing is, see here, they're trying to run a business and you do be screaming and shouting and everything. And you're actually turning people away from their business. It's not right what you're doing. Yeah, it's not right what you're doing. They're trying to have
So now she's speaking English.
Their business.
Yeah, she doesn't speak English, but she's communicating
you know the
in
language
English.
you're speaking?
It's pretty
I don't
amazing.
understand
It's a miracle.
your language. It sounds English
It's
to
a
me.
miracle.
It sounds English. Are you not speaking English? No. See, there you go. You tell lies as well. She said she doesn't, but she said to be speaking English to me. I don't understand Romanian, but she spoke. No, but they do be here, right, screaming and shouting around these stalls, right, and there's big gangs of them, and then people.
So that kills the trade.
Stalls, yeah. I mean, I haven't been to Dublin in 10 years, and I've noticed a big change.
Oh, major change.
How do you find Dublin now?
It's gone terrible. There's not enough police. We haven't got enough guards.
Do you think it's gone downhill?
Oh, it's gone downhill big time. There's too much antisocial behaviour going on, you know.
Do you feel it's dangerous? You feel like vulnerable working on the streets?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. It's really bad.
What have you seen here on Moore Street? Have you seen anything happen?
See the way it's quiet today? Now, in the next 10 minutes, there could be a riot.
You think it kicks off all the time?
Every day. There's always something going on.
I'll be honest with you. I've
day.
seen videos on YouTube and Facebook of fights just kicking off right here.
Every day that'll go on. It's real quiet now, and all of a sudden everything will change.
What starts scrapping?
Well, I'm not being racist or anything like that. There's an awful lot of Romanians. They stand there.
I've seen them on the corner there.
They're drinking. You know what I mean? And then they're fighting with each other when they're.
So the booze kicks in. The booze kicks in. They do stupid stuff.
And they're not even drinking lager. They're drinking vodka and brandy.
Yeah.
So then they go off their head.
Is it?
This is, and ironically, if you notice this just before the video plays, on the right hand side, somebody spray painted "Refugees Welcome" as this takes place on the street. Refugees Welcome. See that? So here we have a whole family getting involved. See the kids learning how to kick nice and early, screaming. There's mummy or daddy getting involved in the fracas. Someone else has got a slap. Oh, so we're having an Irish person commentating on this. What happened to that lady, I don't know. But we have Irish people standing back watching this happening on their streets and being told that they are less educated on the whole, less likely to be working on the whole, and less healthy on the whole. So let's go somewhere else. Let's go somewhere else here and see what we have going on at St. Bridget's. This is St. Bridget's home.
Open the door! Open the door!
Open the door, demanding the door be opened. He has no manners, but he's educated. I'm talking to you! Oh yeah, they know how to gain entry when they need to.
I moved into this community, nobody knew who I was, I'm not from here, and people could say, well sure, Fiona, you rocked on here and no one knew who you were and no one gave you a hard time about being here. But if anyone had come to my door and said, sorry, we do need to verify who you are, I can show my passport, I can show my driving licence, and I can show who I am. I've got my papers, I've got my documents. People do not get on planes without documents. How could they come out the other side of it?